Mozart was kind of the metal, like
he was a rock star.
He was a rock star
Absolutely,
back in those days, and he kind of challenged the barriers of that music for that time.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time in the channel, hit subscribe right now.
Colin, Marlee, thank you so much for your time today. My first question has to be for you, Marlee. How is your sleep? Because last time we spoke, obviously the previous album was inspired by or fueled by some issues that you were having with hypnagogia?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, actually, I've been going to therapy and stuff, and sleep therapy and a bunch of other stuff. And I'm good now. It's like I haven't had them since we last talked, maybe a little bit after that, but yeah.
Yeah, you were mentioning at the time, if I remember correctly, that like ever since the release of that album, it was much better, as if there was like some sort of weight lifted off you while we were talking about it.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, well, obviously we're not going to spend too much time talking about Silhouettes of Horror today. We're more focused on the Serpent cycle, but now that we kind of touched on that, on this album, I had a chance to listen to the whole album. There seemed to be a lot of different topics dealt with. So the previous album was very personal. Is this one as well, or is this a little bit more macro, broader? What was the inspiration for the album?
This is like, it's for me, it's always personal. Maybe there are some songs here and there that are just like ideas or stories and stuff like that, but I think I use this band kind of as a therapeutic outlet. So this album, I touched on a lot of stuff just going on in my childhood and trauma and just how people are and how we wish they would be, and how the ego is kind of what shapes us and our decisions. And, some people just can't let go of that, even if they're wrong, kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. I saw that somebody commented on, I think it was your second single. The first single, The Prophet of Deceit, which I think is one of the songs that might highlight that a little bit more. And I think somebody commented on that video like, oh, it just sounds like they're really angry at Calgary. So is everybody in Calgary just your target right now?
No, of course not. No, music is an outlet. People should not take things to heart. Everybody's experience in each city that you live in is different. Mine, I was there for 30 years, my whole life until we moved here. A lot of trauma, a lot of different things that have happened there, people, that came into my life, and I was more just talking about my experiences with those people. Mm-hmm. And, if they I feel like they should take some, if they're actually offended with this, they should look inward.
Why? I would say it's not at the city by any means.
I mean, I say I left that hellbent town, but it was it's just lyrics. Like, it was just kind of an expression on a new life.
It's kind of funny because the song deals with like people who just cause unneeded drama for no reason, and that comment is almost just like fulfilling that,
Perfect example.
Exactly. So we had a good laugh over that because, but nothing to do with Calgary itself. Calgary's great. We love the city. Great music.
The drama wouldn't be like, if you don't want to cause drama, then don't comment.
Right.
Like in the lyrics, I say, anger has you bound. It's like you have to let go of that anger with other people in order to move on with your life, and you continue a cycle in your life of continuous anger, blaming other people, that kind of thing. And I mean, I've been there when I was younger and stuff, But as soon as I let go of all that, that's when things started coming together. You know, I made the best friends when I let go of that. And
it reminds me a little bit of, I mean, I have a feeling you are familiar with the band Accept. On their last album, their bass player is a buddy of mine. He wrote one of the songs of the last album called "Sucks to Be You," and he talks about kind of what you have as well, where like, you know, he used to get frustrated when people were so negative about things, and now his mantra is basically just like, if you want to be so negative about stuff that doesn't matter, then it sucks to be you. And I just don't have time for that. But actually, now that I mentioned Accept, who did a wonderful trick to make songs instantaneously recognizable with Metal Heart, where they brought on board the Bach Air Suite as a guitar solo. What a beautiful way to bring us back to Prophet of Deceit, because let's just say that there's some classical influences in that song as well. Something you wanted to play with as a guitar player, Colin?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I love classical music. And yeah, just, you know, I definitely take a lot of inspiration from that. I really believe that classical was the metal of those days back then. Like I think if you take any classical song and add like distorted guitar and drums, you'll make it. So yeah, I mean, I love that kind of stuff. Definitely a huge inspiration for that song, as you said.
Well, like Mozart was crazy. Like if you watch the movie Amadeus, I don't know if you've seen it, but Mozart was kind of the metal, like
he was a rock star.
He was a rock star
Absolutely,
back in those days, you know, and he kind of challenged the barriers of that music for that time. Like people thought he had too many notes and it was too much for everybody to listen to, you know, but he left a legacy. I mean, it's kind of sad actually just watching that movie, realizing that, you know, it takes someone's death and legacy for people to really appreciate the music and, you know.
Once people listen to the full album, they will know that you're no stranger to that movie either. Given that the song we just talked about is introduced by one of the very famous scenes of that movie, the too many notes scene.
Yeah. Well, I mean, occasionally it seems to have, how should one say? How shall one say, Director?
Too many notes, Your Majesty.
Exactly. Very well put. Too many notes.
I don't understand. There are just as many notes, Majesty, as are required, neither more nor less.
Well, my dear fellow, there are, in fact, only so many notes the ear can hear in the course of an evening.
Let's delve a little deeper here, because it is, on one hand, a very fun way to, you know, prepare the unsuspicious listener for what's to come solo-wise on the next song. But people are still talking about that scene, about like, well, is the movie trying to highlight the inability of somebody to take feedback with an open mind, or is the movie more talking about the fact that feedback, in order for it to be helpful, has to be very specific, versus a very broad statement or vague statement like too many notes? So I have a feeling that you guys didn't just slap a Mozart related quote in front of that song, and that you've talked about this quote over and over as well. Am I way off, or is there some truth to that?
Yeah, I'd say so in a way. I mean, we've always kind of, like, as a songwriter, I'm always kind of balancing kind of, you know, having that technical guitar stuff with too many notes, as well as kind of like having more simplistic and straightforward song structures, because it is true, like 99% of the general public just want to hear like a catchy, straightforward song.
Right.
And at the other 1% is pretty much musicians that are, you know, that guitar players that like to hear cool licks and that kind of thing.
For now, hundreds of years from now, maybe not.
So I think as a musician, it's kind of, I mean, you're never going to hear music as a non-musician. So, I mean, to say that I kind of know what non-musicians hear is kind of like, I have no idea what they want or what they hear in music, because because I am a musician, obviously. So yeah, I would say, I mean, it's something we've always talked about in a way, was just like, do we need all this craziness going on in the song, or can we just like sit back and just have like a kind of straightforward power chord riff, or just kind of a so
All about balance.
it's a constant battle trying to figure it out. And I think you need a bit of both. You need the show off guitar work and melody vocal stuff, and you also need to kind of just know when it's time to just kind of just do straightforward.
On this album, there definitely are those more straightforward, grittier elements that push some songs towards the death thrash that we're seeing to become quite popular these days. Is that also, in a way, fueled by how the band looks today? Because, I mean, there obviously have been some changes, and right now, officially, 1 guitar versus 2 guitars. Did that fuel some of that?
Definitely. This is the first album we've ever done that pretty much the songs were recorded exactly how I wrote them.
Right.
As in the past, I would kind of write the demos for the songs, but then we would have like a few months to jam them as a band, and kind of they would obviously change. We would rearrange certain parts, or one of the members would have like a different way of playing something that would fit better, kind of thing. Cat walking in front. But yeah, so this time, just with the nature of like we had some deadlines we had to meet. Unfortunately, we had some member changes leading up to it, so it was kind of like pretty much how the songs were. And
and you know what? Hey, it's a good thing the camera wasn't a little bit lower in this case.
Oh, there we go. Cool. But yeah,
Get off the table.
Yeah, and I would say, I mean, especially with our previous album, like our old bass player was like a huge, just 80s heavy metal dude.
Mm-hmm.
And that a lot of that would rub off, I think, in the music, whereas this time around, like a lot of my influences come from thrash and like melodic death metal, so
right.
I think it's pretty natural that it would be a bit more of those like death thrash, like you say. Yeah.
So what should we then what's the blueprint for this band going forward? Because obviously, I mean, either you kind of change the existing catalog to be optimized for 1 guitar on stage, or you want to stay true to what the sound was before, and you have to bring in an additional guitar player, at the very least on stage, maybe not on record going forward. So what does that look like?
Oh yeah, so we actually do have another guitar player. We were just single for the recording, so I did both guitar, or all the guitars on the album.
Okay.
But no, we were always going to be a 2-guitar band. Like you said, our songs need it. And yeah, so we actually do have a new guitarist that we can announce now because of when this will be airing. So our good friend, his name is Skyler Mills. He plays in another band called WMD.
Yeah.
Here in Canada, another cool thrash band. He's an amazing guitar player. Really brings a whole other level of kind of, I've always wanted to do kind of really dual harmony guitar solos and like kind of do that kind of shreddy trade-off stuff, which is really cool that we can do that now with him in the band.
Yeah.
We're definitely not going to be a 1-guitar live band. That would never work.
And he's going to be doing double duty, or is he leaving WMD?
No, yeah, he'll be doing both. Yeah.
Which
So,
these guys are also, I think, if I'm not mistaken, opening for you guys on the release party, right? On December 15th.
Exactly, yeah. So they also have pretty much an entire new band now as well, that I'll let him announce. But yeah. So it'll be awesome.
Yeah, because he just moved to Vancouver and he actually lives with us now.
Oh.
Yeah, so that makes it easy to learn the songs and to
So it's like, okay,
parts.
you can stay with us, but you have to play in our band, kind of thing,
Yeah, if you're living with us, you have to be in our band.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, talking about the release show, and in a way, kind of coming back to Calgary as well. If I remember correctly, I think Marlee, it was you said last time that for the release show, You did back-to-back shows in Calgary and Edmonton, right? If I remember correctly. And I think you described those shows as reliving the worst parts of your wedding again, because it was overwhelming with so many people just wanted to say hi and what have you. And I know that you had a less than optimal merch system as well. So now that you can think about December 15, some lessons you've learned that you're putting into practice?
Yeah, I mean, I've reorganized all the merch. I have these huge Ziploc bags that I put labels on, and then a better inventory sheet.
I think the worst part of merch was that we were living in Vancouver. We didn't drive to Calgary, Edmonton. We flew, so we had to just pack all of our merch in these duffel bags, and then once we got there, we had to figure out how to reorganize it. So it's much easier when you're in your own city.
Yeah,
sure.
And I think if we were to tour in another country or that kind of thing, we would just order the merch there, right? And then just organize it when we get there.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned that, Marlee, I mean, obviously, a beef that I have with you guys is that it's been over a year and I still haven't seen you play a show here in Ontario. How long are you going to keep us waiting here in central Canada? When can we see you on a stage here?
Hopefully not long. Honestly, we really do want to get over there.
Yeah, it's been a crazy transition, moving and getting established here. I do think that we're going to probably fly out and...
Yeah, I would say, I mean, next year for sure.
Yeah.
We really want to make that work. Next year, we really want to hit as many cities as we can. I think European stuff, do the States, and definitely Ontario, Quebec kind of thing.
We have to obviously touch on as well something that I'm really happy about, which is you guys also covered a Heart song, and a song that for my entire life I was like, this song needs more power. It's too soft as it is. Crazy on You by Heart. What fueled that decision?
Yeah, honestly, it was Colin's idea, so I can't really...
Yeah, it was one of the... I have a kind of constant catalog of songs that I think would be cool metal songs.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't love covering metal songs. I'd much rather kind of make a non-metal song metal. Heart is a perfect example of that, where it has all the elements of a metal song. It just needs that edge.
Yeah, exactly.
That also challenged me to try to figure out what I was going to do vocally for it as well. But it just worked when I was like, I just found the voice for it, and I'm pretty proud of what I came up with.
Yeah. Not to give away too many secrets, but I'm glad that you've in the beginning kind of make people be like, oh, are they gonna stay closer to the original? And then you give us a couple of surprises along the way. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, as we're talking, we're less than a month away from the release of the album, and then we'll have to wait a little bit longer to do the release shows. I hope that you guys are planning to record some of that footage so that we can, all see either at the same time or after the fact what a party that was. There are some there's a lot of dark and deep themes, but there's some partying going on this album as well. Marlee said before, like, an album should be balanced in a way of should be straightforward at times. There should be too many notes at times. A thrash band at the end of the day needs some partying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
We were stoked on our Pizza Thrash video.
Yeah, just touching on what you said too, the plan is to film and record the whole album release show. So we'll definitely, if it all goes well, it'll be released for
One
sure.
thing as well that I don't know if you'll ask about, because you saw that we had a drummer on the album, our friend Ryan. He was just a session drummer again, but we actually have now a drummer finally that is going to be full-time. Fingers crossed. They're so hard to find.
You better start building an extra wing in that house of yours if you want to keep growing the band, because everybody has to move in with you.
Well, the drummer has his drums here, so...
There you go. So you're already kind of working that angle. There you go. Yeah.
We got some collateral.
And then one
Yeah.
time after practice, you're just gonna say, "Sorry, you're not going home anymore. This is your new home." There's always lineup changes, especially in these early years. And in 10 years, when you look back, the third album, it's always the sound-defining and band-defining album in metal. The Number of the Beast, the Master of Puppets. So it will be very interesting to look back with you in a few years onto this release and see how it has influenced the journey. But I'm excited for everybody to have a chance to listen to the full album.
Yeah, definitely.
when it comes out, I had a ton of fun, obviously, with Prophet of Deceit, but I think the standout track for me right now is probably the title track, which I'm excited for a lot of people to listen to. Talking about powerful drums that the new drummer has to play, definitely come out on that song. But exciting stuff. Marlee, Colin, I really hope to see you guys here in 2024 on this side. And otherwise, hopefully the stars align and that when we come out to the West Coast, that we can pick you guys along for a show. Thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it. And exciting to see the album come out.
Awesome. Thanks so much
for having us.
Appreciate it.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.